Hold on to your britches, because in studio we have the effervescence. Is that the right thing, Rory?
I drink some, what do you call that? Drinks with bubbles that come. That's called effervescence.
Effervescence.
Yeah. So maybe.
Okay. Well, either way, off to a great start. Rory Beil with Beil Brothers Moving. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
I am never better. I was just asking you off air, are things busy right now in the movers world? What would you say to that?
When it gets cold, people aren't quite so excited about moving. So there's plenty of people who are still moving, but not like April through September.
Yeah. Well, we see a lot more transactions in April through September, but I can't believe that right now your book just doesn't fill up in full. Like movers usually employ, part-time summer help, that sort of thing to get through the busy season. But right now, as it's colder, that's usually when people want the extra help, isn't it, Rory?
Yeah, they do. They definitely need some help when it gets colder, and so we're available if needed.
That's right. Well, let's learn about Beil Brothers Moving. I, of course, know lots about it. We've had you as a guest before, and you're a good friend, and so happy to understand all those ins and outs. Rory, how would you explain Beil Brothers Moving? Is it just another moving company?
Well, it's something that's, I would say, is in our blood. My brother Brett and I own the business, and we grew up in Valley City, and our father and his brother, John Beil, the first Beil brothers to start moving, did this on the side. My dad was a furniture salesman. He was either selling to somebody or he was related to somebody in the county, and so...
That made prom very weird, didn't it?
Yeah. Extremely. And so, and I have three brothers. And so we kind of grew into this moving business and kind of thought that's what people did on weekends.
Is that they just hauled giant pieces of furniture.
They let their fingers swell up.
And I would imagine, Rory, let's rewind the clock back to, was this the 70s when you were hauling furniture with your pops?
Probably early 80s it started.
That was heavy oak furniture. That wasn't like light. That was the stuff that breaks some backs.
Yeah. We always wanted to look at our dad's hands because they were just they were indicative of the heavy things that he'd been carrying for many years.
Really,
yes.
Really. And I've heard you say before that you're going to take the skin off your hand before you're going to let a wall get scuffed, right?
That's what our dad taught us. He said you're gonna draw some blood on yourself before you're gonna mar somebody's furniture or make a mark in their wall. And I think that's one of the things that makes our Beil Brothers Moving unique. We're not hunky 20-year-olds. We're middle-aged guys that do like to do this.
But you're like, Rory, you are in fantastic shape. Like, there's those that are like, okay, I work out every once in a while. You are a track and field coach. Are you a Hall of Famer at UND? I know your wife is a Hall of Famer at NDSU for the track program.
I'm married into the Hall of Fame, but I am not myself.
Okay, but you were a college athlete.
Yes.
And you have fitness and health, and you were one of the people that started the Streets Alive initiative in Fargo. I mean, you have athleticism and being healthy in your blood.
Well, if you're going to move heavy furniture, you better have taken care of yourself and put yourself in a position to do so. So, yeah, I think that both Brett and I are in good condition.
Because here's the catch, folks. If you didn't hear it, Rory is not a spring chicken. I think that's how maybe you're going to describe yourself, that you're not a 20-year-old kid, but you're in shape like you're a 20-year-old kid, and you have the business savvy and the responsibility of an adult that's been in the business world for some time.
Yeah, so imagine hiring another adult who's been around to take care of your precious furniture and goods, and so I think that's one of the things that we bring to the table.
Now, it's so interesting because I've always had perspective on things that are side hustles and part-time jobs, and I got started in real estate, Rory, it was a side job for 5 years before I ever jumped in full-time. And so I dipped my toe in. And for you, you've simply chosen the path of keeping Beil Brothers moving as just that way to stay in shape and to connect with your family, to connect with your brother, and to really get your blood pumping, to have some extra exercise as well. Why have you chosen to have it as like a side gig? Because I think it speaks of what you're passionate about.
Well, both Brett and I work full time. And he's got young kids, I've got children, and our paths, frankly, don't get to cross that often. But nothing comes between us when we're carrying a sofa. And I sit at a desk a fair amount, and it's an opportunity for me to get up and move. And surprisingly, as odd as it sounds, it feels good to help somebody. It feels good to move, and it feels good to spend some time with my brother.
Now, if you haven't met Rory or Brett before, they're going to be some of the most charming and caring people. I would trust you to watch my kids. I would trust you to carry my furniture. I'm wondering if you would do both.
Well, I don't know if I'd carry your furniture if your kids were on it.
Okay.
But I would watch your kids and carry your furniture.
Thank you. Yeah. Rory, tell us about your family, because you're a family man. You're a guy that has poured into this community for years. Help us understand the man behind Beil Brothers Moving.
Well, I'm married to Dawn Beil. She's a physical education teacher in town. We moonlight as track coaches at Fargo-Davies.
And by the way, state championship. Right? You had a state championship this last year?
Yes, we did.
And broke a ton of records, and you have the largest, it's the largest organization for students in the entire state, right?
It has been the largest extracurricular program in Fargo Public Schools the last couple of years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
So we have a freshman or a sophomore at NDSU who's going to school to be a school counselor. We have a senior at Fargo-Davies, and then a 7th grade son.
And your 7th grade son is more jacked and more ripped than most kids I've ever seen.
Yeah, and he's got more product in his bathroom than I had in my entire life. And so we're talking about vanity and humility, and he's a good guy, but he likes to flex his muscles.
Well, I had the privilege. I got to be the youth minister for your kids back in the day. That's how we got connected, was through church. And now to see what you're doing with Beil Brothers Moving is really special, Rory. So. What's the gist? If somebody wants to hire you as a mover, do you just show up and get to work? Does it take a few days? Like what are all the details that go into it?
Well, we're still a mom and pop shop. I think that's one of the things that makes us unique. It's give me a call, let me know what it is you want to do, what your move's about, so we can have a little dialogue and we can get to know. We can begin to get to know you, and then we take care of the details. Some people want a quote for what it's going to take. Other people say, do the work, and what's your rate? And we then get out and do the job. We really provide the labor. We'll rent a vehicle, a truck to do the move, and we take care of everything from start to finish. We'll break things down, build them back up, whatever's needed.
Mm-hmm. If I can rewind back the clock, my wife and I moved into our house, I think of 7 years ago now. If I could do one thing over, I would hire a mover. And I hear that time and time again in this, is that people get so emotionally exhausted with the real estate transition and changing houses and moving into a new abode. It is emotionally taxing. And then you put the physical taxing and coordination part of that on top of it. And sometimes it's too much. And I think you're there to provide a relief. And it is an investment in your health, Rory. It's an investment in sometimes saving someone's health if they don't have the physical means to do so. And I promise you, the squibs and the issues between things in your family will dissipate when you hire a mover, because you guys are going to do all that heavy lifting, and the family can just bicker back and forth about something else.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll do the physical labor, and you can tell us which room you want things in, and argue or disagree with your sister about which room you think it should be in, and we follow direction very well.
Perfect. Well, Rory, it is fantastic having you here. If people want to get in touch with Beil Brothers Moving, how do they do so?
The easiest way is to give me a call, 701-893-6366, and we can talk about what your needs are and see if we can meet them.
And feel free to reach out to us at hatchrealty.com as well. We'll happily get you in contact with Rory and the rest of the crew. Thanks, my friend. Good to have you with us. We're going to swing to break, but in the meantime, again, go to hatchrealty.com and take a look at some of those great houses on the market. This is Real Estate Radio with Erik Hatch.